Most people think of AI as something you use before you decide something. You ask it to compare your options, weigh the trade offs, help you think it through. And that works. But today, we're talking about something a little different. What happens when you bring AI in after the decision is already made? Because it turns out that might actually be where it's most useful. Here's the situation we're working with. You did the work, you looked at the options, you made the call, and you moved forward. And for most people, that is where the thinking stops. The decision is done. The next step is execution. And looking back feels like second guessing yourself. But there is a version of looking back that is not about doubt at all. And that's what we're here to explore today. If you've ever made a significant decision and then caught yourself with a quiet nagging feeling somewhere in the back of your mind, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Not panic, not regret, just a small voice asking, did I miss something? That feeling shows up for almost everyone who makes decisions under real pressure with incomplete information, which is everyone. And it turns out that voice is actually worth listening to. Every decision gets made with the facts that were available at the time. You used what you had, but some factors just never made it into the room when you were deciding. Not because you were careless, but because they were easy to overlook. They were not obvious. They did not come up in the conversations you had. They were sitting just outside the frame of what you were focused on. That gap is real, and it's incredibly common. The goal is not to revisit whether you were right. The goal is to surface what was missing from the thinking in the first place. Think about what it actually feels like to ask someone you know to weigh in on a decision you've already made. Most of the time, one of two things happens. Either they tell you it sounds great because they don't want to make you feel bad, or they start poking holes in it, and now you feel like you made a mistake. Neither of those is actually useful. What you actually want is honest, specific feedback with no agenda attached. And that's genuinely hard to find from people who know you. But this is where AI does something that almost no one in your life can do. It does not care what you decide. It has no stake in being right. It's not trying to impress you or protect the relationship. You give it the situation, and it tells you what was probably missing from the original picture. No reassurance, no judgment. Just a clear look at what the decision might have left on the table. So here's the scenario for today's demo. A candle shop owner has been running their business for 3 years. They decided to expand into home fragrance diffusers. They ordered inventory. The launch is next month. The decision is done. We're not asking AI whether it was the right move. We're asking it to look at the decision and surface what probably did not come up when it was being made. That's a very specific job, and the way the prompt is built matters. Before we run it, let me walk you through how the prompt is built because the structure here is doing real work. The system prompt sets Claude up as a decision reviewer with a specific constraint. Do not evaluate whether the decision was right, just surface what was probably missing. Then it tells Claude to return exactly 4 sections: unconsidered factors, hidden assumptions, unmapped consequences, and one question worth asking now. Each section has a specific format. That structure keeps the output tight and usable rather than a wall of generic text. Let's go ahead and get into Claude and see what happens. Here's the system prompt we're using. You are a decision reviewer. A business owner has already made a decision and committed to it. Your job is not to tell them whether they were right. Your job is to surface what they probably did not think about before deciding. Return exactly 4 sections with these labels. Unconsidered factors. 3 things relevant to this decision that were likely not part of the original thinking. Each one gets two sentences, what it is, and why it matters here. Hidden assumptions. Two assumptions baked into this decision that the owner may not have named explicitly. Each one gets two sentences, what the assumption is, and what happens if it turns out to be wrong. Unmapped consequences. Two downstream effects that could follow from this decision, positive or negative, that probably did not come up in the original reasoning. Each one gets two sentences. One question worth asking now. A single question that, if answered honestly, would most change how they proceed. One sentence only. Do not evaluate the decision. Do not say whether it was a good or bad choice. Do not offer encouragement or reassurance. Return only the four sections above. Let's go ahead and give Claude the directions. And Claude is ready. Tell me the decision. Here's our user input. I run an online candle shop and I've decided to expand into home fragrance diffusers. I've been selling candles for 3 years, ordered my first diffuser inventory, and I'm planning to launch next month. Let's run it and see what we get for our output. For our unconsidered factors, diffusers require consumable refills, which means customers will expect you to stock and sell compatible oils or pods. Diffuser hardware carries a different return and defect profile than candles. Fragrance diffusers compete in a market with entrenched mass market brands at aggressive price points that candles do not face as directly. Hidden assumptions. The assumption is that your existing candle customers are the natural first buyers for diffusers. The assumption is your candle brand identity translates cleanly to a hardware product. Unmapped consequences. If diffusers find traction, you will face pressure to expand the refill and accessory ecosystem faster than planned. This could pull cash and attention away from the candle operation that currently funds everything. Carrying a second product category with different storage requirements, shipping weights, and fragility levels may expose inefficiencies in your current fulfillment setup. The one question worth asking now, if the diffusers sell through, but customers come back asking for refills you cannot consistently supply, what's your plan? Here's what just happened. The business owner gave Claude one paragraph, and Claude returned a structured analysis of what was probably missing from the original thinking. Some of it will be things the candle shop owner already considered, some of it will not be. And one section in particular, that single question at the end, tends to land differently than everything else. It's not asking whether the decision was right. It's asking the one thing that, if answered honestly, would most change what happens next. That is a very specific kind of useful. Look at the structure of what came back. Four labeled sections, each doing a different job. Unconsidered factors surface what was always relevant but never came up. Hidden assumptions name the beliefs that got treated as facts. Unmapped consequences show what flowed downstream from the choice, positive and negative. And that final question is not a critique, it's a compass. Each section is short, specific, and grounded in what was actually shared. There's no generic advice in here. This is entirely drawn from the one paragraph that was pasted in. This is the part that surprises most people. The output does not challenge the decision. It doesn't say you should not have done this. It surfaces what was missing from the thinking that led you there. That distinction matters. One feels like criticism. The other feels like a conversation you wish you had 6 weeks ago. AI is doing the second one here, and it turns out that is far more useful than being told whether you were right. Here's why this combination works. You bring context that AI cannot have. You know the history, the relationships, the reasons this felt like the right call. AI brings pattern recognition across a huge range of decisions like yours. It's seen what tends to get overlooked. Put those two things together, and you get something neither one can produce alone. A second opinion that's honest, fast, and completely free of agenda. Reading the output is not the same as accepting it. Some of what comes back will be directly relevant to your situation. Some of it will reflect factors that do not actually apply to you. Your job is to read it critically, keep what lands, and set aside what does not. That filter is yours. AI cannot apply it for you because it does not know your history, your constraints, or what you've already accounted for. The output is a starting point. What you do with it is entirely up to you. You don't need a big decision coming up to try this. Decisions you already made are fair game. A hiring call, a pricing change, a product launch, a partnership you said yes to. Paste a one paragraph description of the situation and what you decided. Run the prompt. See what comes back. It takes a few minutes and it regularly surfaces something worth knowing. The system prompt and the user input format are both in the descriptions of the video. Copy them, swap in your own situation, and see what was not in the room when you decided. If you want to try this on a real decision in your own business, everything you need is in the description. And if you want to talk through what AI could actually do for your operation specifically, that conversation starts at eauclaireai.com. We work with business owners who are ready to stop wondering what AI could do for them and start finding out. Subscribe for new demos every week, and we'll keep showing you what's possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.